Howdy, everyone, and welcome to Your Reality. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a mystery that affects all of us, something that, if you truly grasp it, can change your life. Ever felt like you desperately want something, but it just doesn't happen? Like the universe is messing with you, right? Well, it's not the universe playing games. It's us unknowingly, sometimes tripping ourselves up. Stick around until the end, because I promise you'll discover a fundamental key to manifesting what you truly desire, and I'll give you practical tools you can use today. Trust me, the reward will be worth it. The magic of your desires. Why doesn't it always work? Think about this. What if I told you that your desire for something, whether it's a job, a relationship, or even a great cup of coffee, automatically creates the opportunity for it to happen? Sounds almost magical, doesn't it? Kabbalah, an ancient wisdom, tells us there are two fundamental forces in the universe, a force of giving, which we call creator, and a force of receiving, which is us, the souls. Creation is a chain of cause and effect. The creator desires to give, and we, the souls, are the effect that receives that beneficence. This leads us to an incredibly powerful spiritual law. When you have a genuine desire to share, to create, to love, to manifest something in the world, for example, a business idea, or a product, that desire immediately generates a desire in the world to receive that energy. In simple terms, if you have an idea for a product and you want to share it, a customer who wants to buy it is automatically created. But David, some of you might say, lots of people create products and they don't sell. The customers don't show up. And you're right, seemingly. But the wisdom tells us that the customers are already there. You wouldn't even have the idea to create something unless there was someone in the world with a desire to receive it from you. It's a two-way dance. Your desire to share creates the desire to receive, and that pre-existing desire to receive prompts you to create. Here's where something that might seem contradictory, but is crucial, comes in. Truth has multiple perspectives. Spirituality teaches us that there are 2 points of view, that of the light of the Creator, the source, and that of the vessel, us. As Einstein said with his theory of relativity, the point of view always matters. The first hurdle, deluded desires and the opportunity trap. So, why don't things manifest if our desire is so powerful? The first reason is that our desire isn't 100%. It's like wanting something more or less I'd like it to happen instead of an I know it's going to happen. Have you ever seen an Olympic athlete or a Navy SEAL? Their desire to win or accomplish their mission is so strong they'd rather die than fail. That's an indomitable desire. Now, compare that to an I'd like to, it would be nice if. This latter desire is weak, and with a couple of obstacles or doubts, it vanishes. I've seen it countless times, and it's happened to me too. When you're on track to create something new that truly comes from your soul, what does the negative side, or whatever you want to call it, the resistance, do? It throws a bunch of other great opportunities your way. Suddenly, you get 100 ideas for making money, other hobbies, plans with friends, invitations to meetings, new companies to invest in. These aren't really opportunities. They're distractions. Their sole purpose is to take your main desire and dilute it, compartmentalize it. When your desire isn't strong and focused, the universe simply doesn't know what to do. It's like sending a very weak radio signal. It doesn't reach its destination. Daily exercise. Is your desire diluted? Grab a notebook and write down all the things you desire right now, job, health, love, a project, in one column. Then, in another column, write down all the other opportunities or distractions that have recently appeared in your life and are diverting you from those main desires. Be honest with yourself. You'll see how these opportunities are actually fragmenting your energy. Just identifying them is a big step. The second hurdle, competing desires and the desire gridlock. This is perhaps the most common and trickiest hurdle. Competing desires. Let's take a classic example. You have a strong desire to be in a relationship, to get married, to have children. But you're in your 20s, 30s, maybe even 40s, and still single, wondering why it's not manifesting. If we could look at your soul with a kind of spiritual MRI, we'd see that a part of you does want to be in a relationship, but there's also another part that loves its freedom, that enjoys its alone time, and perhaps a third part that, deep down, believes being in a relationship means losing control or being controlled. What's going on here? You have three desires, one conscious and two hidden or subconscious ones that are sabotaging the first. This creates a desire gridlock. These intentions start clashing, confusing the signal you're sending to the universe. On one hand, your soul cries out, "Send me my soulmate." But at the same time, another part of you sends a signal, "I like my alone time. I don't want to be controlled." A woman once confessed to me that she realized a tiny part of her didn't want a relationship because she falsely believed that when she got married and had children, she'd lose her figure and be less attractive. She was trying to make herself attractive to find someone, but simultaneously, she believed that when she found someone, she'd become less attractive. A total contradiction. What usually happens in these scenarios is that after the third or fourth date, just when things are going well, you'll find a way to sabotage it, and you're not even conscious that you're doing it. So we start blaming the types of people we meet, the city we live in. It's impossible to date in this city. Everyone says, no matter if you live in New York, Miami, or Los Angeles. And yes, changing your environment can spiritually help, but your competing desires will go with you wherever you go. This week is key. Uncover your competing desires. This week, energetically, is very important. It's about the final manifestation of our soul's energy. It's a deep concept, but one of the things that can be revealed to us now are our competing desires. How do you unearth yours? The practical way I do it is simple. Sit down and ask yourself, where am I stuck in my life? In Kabbalah, being stuck means you should be able to manifest any desire within seconds. Technically, that should be the norm. I desire my soulmate, and that person should knock on my door within an hour or even less. That's the realm of miracles. But what happens? We desire something, and it takes time, a process, years or decades. So if you're stuck somewhere, it means you have a competing or diluted desire. And this week, we have a special opportunity for those desires to be revealed to us. Daily exercise, unearthing your hidden desires. Grab your notebook again. Divide a page into 2 columns. In the first, write down an area of your life where you feel stuck, e.g., prosperity, relationships, health, a project. In the second column, start asking yourself questions like, what would I be afraid of if this manifested immediately? What would I lose if I got this? Is there any part of me that benefits from this not happening? What beliefs do I have about success in this area that might be limiting me? Be brutally honest. You might discover unconscious beliefs, just like I did, my own limitation story and the myth of suffering. Let me share my own experience. For over 25 years, I've studied Kabbalah, and for 20, I've taught it, all for charity. It's the most meaningful work of my life. But at some point, having a family, I had to create sustenance. That's how I co-founded Mary Ruth's Organics 10 years ago. But for the first 10 years of my spiritual path, from ages 19 to 29, I was broke. Completely. My life was dedicated to volunteerism and charity work. When I was finally ready to go out into the world to draw sustenance, it was incredibly difficult. Nothing was working. I was doing all the spiritual work, helping so many people, and I was still broke. I couldn't manifest anything in the real world. That was an incredibly painful period, and to be honest, a time of feeling almost like a victim, like, hey, I'm doing all this good work, and why isn't the universe rewarding me? I know that goes against spiritual law to think this way, but I fell into that trap. So I started looking at my competing desires. I realized a really powerful, limiting belief I had subconsciously absorbed. In the early days of my teaching here in Los Angeles, Kabbalah was very big in Hollywood and the celebrity world. I was involved in a lot of private teaching, in people's homes. I was young, and this really made an impression on me. I saw that the wealthier the person learning, the more famous or successful in some way, the more challenged their children were, the more dysfunctional their family was, the more chaos they had. I subconsciously associated great wealth and success with family dysfunction and difficult children. A belief system emerged inside of me that I wasn't aware of, which caused me to subconsciously push away success, because I falsely thought, the more successful you are, the worse your children will get. Of course, There's probably a statistical correlation to that. Maybe, I don't know the data on it. But that is a limitation of this world. It's not based on any spiritual truth. The spiritual truth is the Creator has everything, and we can be like the Creator. We are meant to be like the Creator, which means you are meant to be abundant and have amazing children. Not to say there won't be challenges in both departments, but this is your birthright to have both, and everything else we have, beyond suffering. David Ghiyam's Reality and Consciousness. Another huge limiting belief that I'll touch on briefly today and delve deeper into next week is the idea that you need to suffer to be successful. It's got to be a grind. There's got to be so much failure before you're successful, right? We watch these social media videos where, the basketball player, the Olympic athlete, they failed and they suffered and they broke bones and everybody was against them and the world was against them and they pushed through and they rose up and now, 20 years later, they got a gold medal. And by the way, that's true too. That's a guaranteed way to get there. But what if, just by listening to a podcast for 20 minutes, you could change a belief system that you don't need to suffer to get a gold medal? What if you just believed that it was easy to get a gold medal? What if you believed that it was easy to make $1 million? What if it was easy to find your soulmate? Think about someone like Elon Musk. He thinks it's easy to colonize another planet. Now, for him, he has a lot of challenges, but there are probably as many challenges as we may have just building a business down the street. The point is, it's all consciousness. It's all whatever you believe that creates your reality. If engineers come to Elon Musk and say, well, we can't make this car or this space shuttle this certain way because and he writes this in his book, because of this law or this regulation, and it's not possible. It's never been done before. He just says, well, hire some lawyers to change the law. What's the big deal? I mean, how many of us, if a law told us we couldn't do something in the business world, our next logical thought would be, well, I guess I'll hire a bunch of lawyers to go change the law, like as a very matter-of-fact way? Oh, again, it's all relative. So relative. He's on his level. We're on our level. But the point is, no matter what level you're at, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what business you're in or religion you're part of or spiritual path, it's all the same spiritual concept. Whatever you believe becomes your reality. David Ghiyam and the Power of Belief. How consciousness shapes your world. This is where the profound insight that David Ghiyam shares from Kabbalah comes into play. David, through his teachings, explains that our consciousness isn't just a mental state. It's an active force that interacts with reality. He posits that our thoughts and, fundamentally, our desires and beliefs have the power to shape the field of possibilities around us. Imagine that reality isn't a fixed, unchanging thing, but a vast network of energy and potential. According to the perspective David shares, our consciousness, with particular energy, sends a signal to this field. When our desires are clear, focused, and free of contradictions, that signal is pure and powerful, which allows circumstances and opportunities to align so our desire can manifest. How does this relate to what we've been talking about? David would tell you that a diluted desire or a competing desire creates an inconsistent signal in this energetic field. It's like trying to tune a radio to two stations at once. The result is noise and confusion. This noise prevents the universe from receiving clear instructions on what to manifest. That's why you feel stuck. When David says the universe doesn't know what to do with a weak desire, he's explaining it in terms of the lack of clear direction in the energy we project. Your consciousness isn't generating a vibration coherent enough for that specific reality to materialize from the infinity of possibilities. And when David emphasizes that whatever you believe becomes your reality, he's highlighting that your belief is an active programming of your consciousness that constantly interacts with the field of reality, attracting experiences that confirm that belief. If you believe that success must come with suffering, your consciousness codes that belief into the field, and the universe will present you with situations that validate it. If you believe it's easy, your consciousness activates that possibility. David's vision offers us a practical spiritual framework for understanding why the clarity, coherence, and purity of our desires and beliefs are so crucial. It's not just a mystical concept. It's an invitation to take conscious control of the energy we project to co-create our reality. The reward, miracles ready to manifest. This week, the energy helps us find those beliefs and desires that limit us. Identify them, write them down. Right there, where there's a contradiction, where the energy is stuck, that's where the greatest miracles are ready to come forth in your life. Conclusion and next steps. So this week, the challenge is clear. Identify your competing and diluted desires. Write down all your desires, and then, with a magnifying glass of honesty, see which ones are clashing with each other. That's where the energy is stuck, and that's where the greatest miracles are ready to burst forth into your life. Remember, your reality is yours, and what you believe is what you create. You don't need to suffer to be successful. You don't need to sacrifice one thing for another. Abundance and happiness are your birthright. In the next episode, I'll dive even deeper into other limiting beliefs and how we can break free from those mental chains to live a limitless life. If what you heard today resonated with you and inspired you, I invite you to explore this wisdom further in my masterclass at https://google.com/search?Q=Capital1.com. It's a pay what you can model to make it accessible to everyone. And of course, all proceeds go to charity. And if you like this content, please subscribe to Your Reality so you don't miss any episodes. Leave me a comment with any word that resonated with you from what we talked about today. Your feedback is super important to me. See you next week.